What's up, everyone? I know we're not back in my normal spot, but hey, yo, the show must go on. Anyway, my wife and I just called it quits. All right, here we go. My wife, 38, and I, 40 male, just ended our marriage over Thanksgiving break. It wasn't loud, nor was it filled with cursing or anger. We both admitted to our faults, mine being the inability to be consistent with affection, partnership, and intimacy. We've been separated since the beginning of November. I left and took my teenage son, mine from another marriage, and went to live at my mother's house, the only place I had to go. At first, I was hopeful. We had discussed taking time apart so that we could both work on our issues. I made a plan to find my own place, to start going back to therapy, and to start going to the gym. I'm a big guy, 6'2", weigh 420, but I've lost 50 pounds since February. We gave each other space and time, but every time we talked, it seemed like things got a little worse than they were before. Fast forward to last week, and we were both off work. She works at the local college, and I work at the local public school, and we were cordial with each other. I got to see my little girl over the break, and my wife and I took her to see some Christmas lights when the weekend came along. We had dinner afterwards and talked about it. My wife said she missed me, but she didn't miss everything else. I told her I wanted to save up for some money and go to a couples therapy retreat next year to help get us back on track. When dinner was over, we actually hugged in the parking lot. I felt a glimmer of hope. When we both got back, we talked again. She apologized for hugging me, and I told her not to be sorry, but I didn't take it as some kind of attempt to reconcile on her part, and that I really needed a hug. She said she did too, but the more we talked, the worse things got, as she said that I had hurt her too many times by promising to change and then never changing. I confess, I did and still asked her to come back. She told me that she had a hard time believing that I could ever change. We started discussing how we would proceed with the divorce, whether to go ahead and get divorced and see if we could reconcile later. I asked her if she wanted to do that so we could see other people. And then she confessed to me that some guy had asked her on a date and she was considering it. I was devastated. Not that some guy asked her, but because I had neglected her to the point where another guy could make her turn her head. I told her how badly I was hurting, and she apologized. To explain the next part, let me first say, I believe in God. I believe He speaks to us. You might interpret this differently if you don't believe, but that's okay. I tried to sleep. I had a dream about a huge building made of glass and steel, something beautiful that had taken a long time to plan and build, except it was on fire and utterly destroyed, collapsed in on itself. I watched as people gathered around talking about what a shame it was and how much was going to cost to rebuild it. Then a voice said, "Watch." The fires went out, the smoke settled, and then piece by piece, the rubble cleared. The shards of glass and broken bricks disappeared, one by one, until all that was left was an empty lot. I woke up then, and I knew in my heart what God was telling me. Sunday morning, I messaged my wife and told her what I had seen and that we were officially over. It hurt her deeply. We both went to separate churches that morning. At the one I went to, the preacher talked about how God spoke to us in dreams. I went to the altar and knelt and cried and prayed for God to lead me through this. After church, my wife messaged me back and told me that I was right, that we were over. She said that God wouldn't let someone hurt you until you realized it was time to leave. Interesting. We saw each other today. 4 days later, then I met her with our daughter. She asked me later after if I was okay. I told her I was not going I told her that I was not, and I was broke down every time I thought about her. I asked her if we could still be friends, and she said she would like nothing better. My heart aches. I had chased this woman for years, had a child with her, bought a house with her, made a family with her, and when I finally got her, I let her down and took her for granted. I stopped loving her like I should have, and I finally lost her. Don't be like me. If you find someone truly loves you, show them that you love them in return every day. Get up and make the effort to be a good partner. Show them that they are wanted and appreciated. It makes a difference. Well, you said you're a big guy. We're the same height, bro. I can't even imagine being that size. Bruh, how? Someone says, dude, I hope you find peace. I did something like this once, turned my crap around, and I'm appreciative this one a lot. Maybe there's joy at the end of this broken road. Keep working on yourself. OP says, thank you, friend. I have a plan and a lot of work ahead of me, and all I have is time on my kids. I'm gonna do my best. Bruh, I hope for your sake that is true. Cause damn, son, how are you that big? You didn't talk about that. Like, did you go through something? Did you just have a fit of eating rage? Like, you don't just get to that size out of nowhere. That's a lot of work. It's just stuffing your face, and I don't know. Someone says, I'm sorry, man, that's rough. My 15-year-old relationship ended at the end of July. We are still unwinding things. Therapy has helped. I wish I had the strength to turn more to God. There will be lots of tears and things will get better. Eventually, some days will be worse than others. I took a solo trip. I've been dating. Keep up the weight loss, brother. Some positives I learned are that I know what I want now in a partner. I know what I can and cannot give. I have to look at the totality of the circumstances. Things are not always sunshine and rainbows with me and her. In the end, it became toxic. We tried years of couples therapy. Ultimately, neither of us could give the other what the other wanted. I can accept myself today. I do trust that there is something better out there. It's hard with a soulmate-shaped hole in your heart, however. I pray for your healing. OP says, thank you. I appreciate your prayers. I understand the toxic part. We were stuck in a cycle of toxicity, and it was time for it to end before we ended up hating one another. You are right. It will get better eventually. Ooh, that was a mouthful. Question. How did you get so big? Were you big when you met her? Did she accept you if you were big? If you weren't big when you met her, that could be a big reason why. And the part where she's saying you're never going to change, that implies that maybe you were big and she was giving you time to change, but you never did. That could be a problem. I mean, that'll be a problem for me. Like, hey, I like you a lot. You said you're going to be this way. You're going to do this and this. Okay, time goes on, and then it doesn't happen. And then it's just like, wait, am I being the dummy here? Gotta make you think. So, what have we learned? If you love someone, you're gonna do what you gotta do to keep that person, unless they just don't want to be kept. This guy, it seems like he was doing the work way too late. I wouldn't advise that. What do y'all think? What have you learned from this story? Let me know down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's been another episode of Kevin Prolix TV. Peace.